from Doctors Digital College. This is Intakhab Alam, and today we are going to solve CAIE 5054 Summer 20 question paper number 1-2. So this is Cambridge level physics paper 1, and the time allowed for this paper is no doubt 1 hour. I would like to explain this paper very critically so that the student don't do mistakes when they are solving physics paper. For the first question, which quantity is a vector quantity? Simple knowledge-based question. The student having a knowledge of scalars and vectors can easily get which one is a vector quantity. Very clearly, option A is a vector quantity. These all are the scalar quantities. There isn't any doubt in it. So first question is simple knowledge-based question. Second question, the diagram shows the resultant are of 3 Newton and the 4 Newton forces that act at a point P. So point P is also visible to us. Angle between 3 Newton and 4 Newton can be any value from 0 degree to 90 degree. Very important information here, that the angle can be varied. Which value of R is not? Again, a not is there, not possible. This is a question which is repeatedly there in the past papers over the years by different values. A student need to understand this concept from 0 to 90. It means that you have to add this 3 Newton over here as well. At 0 degree, 3 Newton is added like this, giving you the resultant is simply 7 Newtons. But when you keep on increasing the angle between 3 and 4 and you make it maximum, you take this angle to the 90 degree over here. The case when you go to the maximum, definitely your value would start decreasing from 7, because 7 is the maximum possible value for the resultant of these two vectors. At 90 degree, it would be definitely less, but other values will also be possible as you are varying the angle between 3 and 4 from 0 to 90 degree. At 90 degree, we can apply the law, the Pythagoras theorem directly. If we are not having the time to draw it, we can directly we can get the solution with the help of the Pythagoras theorem, and the resultant over here is very simply 4 square plus 3 square whole under root, and the value is very clearly 5.0 Newton. So the value from 7 to 5, every value is possible. Every value is possible. This is not possible is clearly A. This is not possible. This is really important question, and students normally can easily be deceived by the language of the question, and they can have the mistake. Even they can just for 0 degrees, so 7 is there, and for 90 degree 5 Newton is there. So they can have these two answers, or they can go for 6 as well, because 6 is not for 0, not for 90. But the question says which is not possible. 6 is possible because it is between 5 and 7. Moving on. This is Intakhab Alam from Doctors Digital College explaining the paper of physics, Summer 20, question paper number 1-2. What is measured using a micrometer? This is also a knowledge-based question. And in order to find micrometer, area definitely not measured, current not measured, mass not measured, length is definitely measured with a micrometer, but very small lengths, so we don't have any doubt. Very simple and to the point question. Moving on, here are the 2 stopwatches used to time the runners in a race. Definitely there are the 2 stopwatches. One is the winner and other is the other runner, and definitely there is a difference between their timings. But here only problem which we are facing is that the other runner is having a time in minutes as well. So first of all, we need to convert this minute into seconds. So in a minute, there are 60 seconds. So 60.0 is for this 1 minute, and then there 3.84 seconds are also there. So total, this is 63.84 second is taken by the other runner. But on the other hand, the winner is simply taking 57.76 seconds. Now we can easily get the difference of these two. So subtracting 57.76 out of 63 point, you will easily get as 6.08 is the value in the time which you can easily record, which is option B over here. So only technicality in the question is the conversion of the minute into seconds and correctly using it and getting the difference. This is in the Khabalum from Dr. Digital College, and I'm explaining physics paper for you. The two cameras are known distant apart. The exact time that the vehicle passes each camera is recorded. What can be obtained from the information? So when you are having the two cameras and you are having the recordings out of them, so the information which we can get out of these four is very clearly, I'm just quickly able to find it out. This is the average speed of the vehicle, because known distance is there and speed is distance divided by time, but it would be definitely average speed, not average acceleration, because acceleration need more detailed informations, because you need to find the velocities at different intervals and then you can find the acceleration. So acceleration is definitely not. Maximum speed is only at a particular instant, but this is over a journey, over a period, so it will be definitely average. It will not be the maximum speed. So very clearly, average speed of the vehicle will be determined by this way. Question number 6. Car weight 11,000 Newton, move with a constant velocity. Whenever the word constant velocity is there, always underline this. Along the horizontal road, driving force is 5,000 Newton acting on the car. What is the force opposing the motion of the car? So definitely now the word constant velocity is going to help us a lot. So the car is having some weight, whatsoever the weight is definitely acting downwards. It's not required for the movement of the vehicle. So it's just 11,000 Newton. But there is a force in the forward direction which is 5,000 Newton. So if it's moving at a constant velocity, then the frictional forces must also be 5,000 Newton. Otherwise, the constant speed is not possible. This 11,000 would be automatically balanced by the normal reaction force of 11,000 Newton, which is not asked over here. So we have to only talk about the opposing of the motion of the car force. So definitely A, 5,000 Newton is the option for this. Moving on, question number 7. A man with an open parachute falls to earth at constant speed. Please always make this underline constant speed. Following forces act: the upward force of the parachute on man, the upward force of the man on the parachute, the downward force of the earth on the parachute, the downward force of the man on the parachute. Which two forces are the Newton's third law pair? So Newton's third law pair, please remember students, such question can confuse you. Whenever Newton's third law pair is there are two basic things, that the forces must act at two different bodies. Two different bodies. And the second important point, they must be of same type. These technical points are not there in the explanation in your book, but they are really important in order to find the forces which are Newton's third law pair. So here, when we just look at them, We start working with the first force, the upward force of the parachute on man. So this is definitely one of the force, which is an action force. And what should be the reaction to this? If we go and see very clearly, upward force must have a downward force, not the upward force. So this is definitely not. Okay, parachute on the man, the two bodies are clearly defined, parachute and man. And now man on the parachute, the downward force. So very clearly we can find these two are the same type forces as well, and they are acting on two different bodies as well. They are action and reaction. So P and S very clearly, option C is giving us a Newton third law here. Question 8, the diagram shows the motorcyclist leaning over in order to turn the corner to the left. Which force causes him to turn? Whenever it comes to turning, it comes to circular motion. Whenever it comes to circular motion, body needs centripetal force. If the centripetal force is not provided, you cannot turn in a circle. So this is the left. So definitely the motorcyclist is bending in a circle like this. So if this is the circle, so the only force which is acting toward the center of the circle is A, and which would definitely be providing it the centripetal force. You don't need to calculate the centripetal force, but the students at O level must have an idea of the centripetal force. So A is the option for this. Next question, an object weight 40 Newton on Earth, gravitational field strength is 10, planet where the gravitational field strength is this. Which row is correct? Before going to the options, a student must, whenever a question like this is there, the two concepts must be very clear. Number one, mass is universal constant. And second thing, the weight is the product of mass and gravity. We are not given the mass. So first of all, we have to find the mass of the body. As the weight on Earth is given, 40, mass is not given. The gravity on Earth is given 10 newtons per kg. So mass is now 4 kg. Now comes the application of the first point, which says mass is a universal constant. It means the mass would remain 4 kg if it is still taken to the planet, where the field strength is 4. So the weight of the body at that planet would definitely be the mg 4 into 4. That would be 16 Newton. Now, coming to the first point, if the mass is a universal constant, so these two masses are not possible. So please cut these two without any further discussion. Only the mass possible is 4, but we have calculated the weight of the object onto the planet is 16, not 1. So option B is definitely correct. This is Intikhab Alam from Doctors Digital College. Diagram shows the equipment used to determine the density of the liquid. Okay, we have, whenever the density is there, density is definitely mass divided by volume. We need to get the equation used to calculate the density of the liquid. So we are interested in the liquid, not the container. But problem is, when we come to mass, the mass has the mass of the beaker. So we need to subtract the mass of the beaker in order to find the mass of the liquid. But the volume of the beaker is the volume of the liquid. That is not the issue. So to find the mass of the liquid, you need the mass of the beaker and liquid. Subtracted the mass of the beaker, you will get the mass of the liquid, and divided by the volume of the liquid. Option A is definitely correct. Just have a look on the other options as well. Mass of the beaker and liquid minus mass of the liquid. If mass of the liquid is subtracted, you will get mass of the beaker. We do not need mass of the beaker. Volume over mass is never the density, because density is basically mass over volume. Which single item can be used to find the center of the mass of the plane lamina of irregular shape? So whenever this question is there, there must be an experiment which is normally physics teacher perform with their students whenever they talk about the center of the mass and the center of the gravity. They take a lamina and have asked their student to have the holes at 3 different positions, and then they have to hang it, and they have to use a plumb line, and then they have to draw 3 lines under the plumb line's length, and where all 3 lines meet, that is the center of the gravity and the center of the mass of the body. So they need to hang it. To hang it or to do this experiment, balance is not required at all. Measuring tape is not required at all. We have not to measure any length. Micrometer is not required at all. But vertical pin is definitely required, because if you will not have the vertical pin, which you call the thumb pin as well, you cannot do this experiment. Hanging is only possible with a vertical pin. This is Intakhab Alam from Doctors Digital College. A student makes a model by toy by balances on the end of the metal rod. The weights are there. Why are the weights needed? Why are the weights needed? Very interesting and very important. Actually, we can have an idea of over here. This is linking it to the balance. When we come to the balance, so the students mostly remember a situation of the double-decker bus in which the driver never allows the passengers to go to the upper deck until the lower deck is filled. Why he does so? Because if upper deck is filled first, so the weight would be upwards, so the center of mass will move upwards and the object will not be balanced. Same is the job which is taken by these 2 weights. These 2 weights are basically lowering the center of mass, center of gravity, which will make it definitely balanced. So now we can go to the question. Options. They increase the pressure. No, pressure is not increased at all. They increase the weight of the model. Weight is increased, but that is not to balance. They lower the center of mass below the top of the rod. Yes, definitely they lower. This is the important point. They lower the center of mass below the top of the rod. Yes, they lower it. This is what we have learned already. They raise. No, definitely they don't raise. This is also wrong. Very interesting and very important. Next question. An unstretched elastic cord of length 15 centimeters stretches by 4 centimeter. So there is an elastic cord, and the length of the elastic cord initially is 15.0 centimeters. And it stretches by 4 centimeter when a load off. You have a load, you attach the load to it, and after attaching the load, it is stretched. How much stretched? It is stretched by 4 centimeter, more than 15 centimeter. Okay, by hanging a weight of 6 Newton. The cord does not exceed the limit of proportionality. So very clearly the student must be there having the idea of the Hooke's law in his mind after getting this question. What is the total length of the cord when the weight of 3 Newton? So there are so many ways to do it, but the most simple, or I prefer, is that you need to use the force is equals to kx. You need to find the extension, because extension is there. Load is there. So you can find the value of the spring constant over here, or the cord constant. Elasticity, constant of elasticity can be found by F over X. So the force is 6 Newton and that is 4 centimeter. Let it be in centimeters, that's not an issue. Now he wants to tell us the total length, but before getting to the total length, we need to know the extension. For 3 Newton, To get the extension for 3 Newton using the same relation, F is equals to Kx, X would definitely be F over K. So now the force is 3 Newton, but K is 6 divided by 4. So this becomes 3 over 6 and the 4 goes on the top. 4 3s are 12, 12 by 6 and 6 2s are 12. So this is very clearly 2 centimeter is the extension. But you don't need to tell the extension. You need to tell the new length, total length. Initially it is 15. So definitely the total length now would definitely be 15 plus 2.0. It would be 17.0 centimeter. So we have got the option. Option D is definitely correct. This is Intikhab Alam from Doctors Digital College. An object is placed at different depths in liquid of different densities. Densities are also different and the depths are also different. In which liquid and at what depth the pressure of the object on the object is greatest. So whenever we are in the liquid, we must remember this relation. The pressure is rho GH. Different densities, different depths. So to get the maximum pressure, we need the maximum density and we need the maximum depth. So out of the densities, there are two values, 1000 and 1200. So better we go for 1200 because that is more. And better we go for the more depth, which is this. So for 14, very clearly, without any calculation, you can switch to just having the formula. You can decide the option D is definitely correct. Small vessel of volume 3 centimeter cube contains air at the pressure of 100 kilopascal. This is that small area which is having some air and the pressure is there, volume is there. The small vessel is connected to a syringe. Yes, it is connected to a syringe. The piston is fully inserted into the syringe. The piston is fully inserted. Here is the piston position. Here is the piston position, fully inserted at the end. The piston is moved slowly to the right so that the air in the syringe has a volume of 12 centimeter cube. So syringe has, the piston is moved slowly to the right. It's definitely moved. And when it goes to a position whatsoever that is, at that position, the volume over here is 12 centimeter cube. The temperature of the air does not change. What is the pressure of the air in the syringe? Okay, the pressure of the air in the syringe is asked, but now they both are connected. So we need to get it according to the Boyle's law, which says the product of the pressure and volume initially and finally is always equal. Initially, the volume is this, the pressure is this. Finally, the pressure will be P2, but the volume would be 12 plus 3 because this 3 remains there, but 12 is also added to that. So the P1 over here is 100 kilopascal and V1 is 3. I'm not writing the units at all because I can balance them in the end as well. P2 I have to find and V2 is now 12, 13, 14, 15. Quickly getting the value of the P2, 100 into 3 divided by 15. So I can get the value, which is 300 is divided by 15 will give me the value, which is 20. But definitely the kilopascal was not there. So kilopascal is the common thing, which I have not included over here. So automatically it would be included in the end. So 20 kilopascal is the value of the new pressure. This is Intikhab Alam from Doctors Digital College. A rocket of mass m, when empty, carries a mass m of the fuel. Rocket and the fuel travel at a speed v. The engine of the rocket is fired and all of the fuel is expelled. The speed of the rocket increases to 2V. What happens to the kinetic energy of the rocket? One thing is very clear. The kinetic energy is definitely increased. But the problem is the factor. Maybe it is doubled. It's not possible. It's not possible. So we are with the two options left. It doubles or it increases by the factor of 4. So that is simply, we need to get to the relation of the kinetic energy to decide this. The kinetic energy is half mv square. So if the velocity is doubled 2v, so getting the square of that, so this is 4v square. So definitely the value from the initial value, which is half mv square, it's increased by the factor of 4. Option C is definitely correct over here. The car of mass 1000 kg is driven 200 meter up an incline so that it rises 50 meter vertically. So total rise vertical is 50 meter. The run or the movement on the slope is 200 meter. The acceleration of free fall is this. What is the gain in the gravitational potential energy? So here the gravitational potential energy is considered to be 0. So the gravitational potential energy here is very clearly, you know, the GPE is mgh. It does not have to do anything with the 200 meter. It's linked with the vertical rise only. Because the mass is 1000 kg, the gravity is 10, the height is 50. So very clearly you can get the value, which is 500,000 joules. Just multiplying, you will get the 500,000 joules. In which situation is energy being released by the fusion of hydrogen nuclei to form helium? Situation, this is a fusion reaction question, you know, hydrogen nuclei to form the helium. We have this idea, and this is a knowledge-based information only, and we have read it very clearly that it is there going on in the center of the sun, not the earth, not this, not this. It's knowledge, and we should have this knowledge. This is in the Khabalam from Doctors Digital College. Question 19. The main stages in the operation of a coal-fired power stations are listed. They are not. Not is bold. Please make it a note whenever you are solving the paper. Any letter bold is to be considered very seriously. In the correct order. They are not in the correct order. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The flow chart shows the first 2 stages. It started with 4. Burning coal produces thermal energy. Good. Then the 2 option, the water in the boiler becomes hot. When the boiler becomes hot, what to do? Definitely the steam will be produced. So we are very much clear there would be 6. After the steam is produced, we definitely have the steam runs the turbines. Turbine turns the generator, but we should be with steam turns the turbine. Yes, we have this option 3. If the steam is produced, steam turns the turbine. And then turbine turns the generator. And finally, when the generator is turned, electromagnetic induction produces the electrical energy. So I have completed it for you, and you can get the correct option 6315, which is option A. This is in the Khabalam from Doctors Digital College. In which situation is there no transfer of energy? No transfer of energy. The car battery turning a starter motor. Car battery turning a starter motor. there will be energy used for that. A car moving along the horizontal road at a constant speed. Yes, the car is moving on the horizontal road at a constant speed, but the energy of the petrol is used to overcome the frictional forces. So energy is definitely been used in this case as well. A solar panel warming the water. Yes, there is the conversion of energy. There is the transfer of energy. A spacecraft orbiting the Earth at a constant height. So spacecraft is in space, there is no friction. So when it is orbiting the Earth at the constant height, so there is no transfer of energy. So option D is correct. Because we are very much clear that in first three, energy is definitely converting. The 200-volt battery of an electrical car is charged with a current of 33 amperes for the 4 hours. The efficiency of the charging process is 90%. How much usable energy is transferred to the battery? So we need to get first of all input, and then we have to get the output because efficiency is given. When we come to the input, we can get it simply because we are having the input. We can get input energy is the product of current, the product of voltage, and the product of time will give us the input energy. I is 33 amperes, voltage is 200, and the time is 4 hours, but we have to convert it into seconds. It is much better. So we can talk about the input energy. Then we have to go for the usable energy, which is the output. Then we have to use the concept of the efficiency, as the efficiency is generally output over input. If it is energy, it is energy. If it is power, it is output power over input power. The efficiency is 90%. Output we have to find. Input we have already got. Multiplying all this will have the value of the input. So from here, when we do the calculation, we can get the output very clearly, which is the 90% of this value. And doing these calculations, we can easily get it would be 86 megajoules. Question 22. In the experiment to measure the power output of a small steam engine, a known load is lifted by the engine. Which two measuring instruments are also required? You need to need the power output of the small steam engine. And you're lifting the load. So very clearly, we need to find two quantities as we go for the relation of the power. Power is generally work done divided by the time taken. So you need to record the time and you need to record the work done. Okay, load is lifted, so your load is definitely the force, and the work done is force multiplied by the distance. So you need to know to calculate the power, the force, which is load, distance and time. So for the distance, it is clearly meter rule, and for the time, it is stopwatch. So option C is definitely correct. Others you will find do not have this clarity. 23. 4 metal containers with identical dimensions filled with the water at 90 degrees centigrade. All faces except one of each container are covered in a very good insulator. The one exposed face on each container is painted either black or white. In which container does the water cool the fastest? So here we need to decide only on one factor, that is the black body. And one must be very clear that black body is the best radiator. Here, this is the only information which would be good for us. So the large face painted black, exposed face is painted black, other are insulated. Other are insulated is given with a very good insulator. The face which is exposed is large as well and is painted black. So A will definitely be cooled fastest, not the white one, not the small faces. So very clearly, black body is the best radiator and also best absorber. But in this question, it is used as a best radiator. Thermal energy is used to turn the water at 100 degrees centigrade to steam at 100 degrees centigrade. So there isn't any change in the temperature. Still the energy is used. Which of the following occurs? The forces between the molecules decrease, the speed of the molecule increase, the separation of the molecule increases. So when we talk about the speed of the molecule increases, so speed of the molecule is linked with the temperature change, is linked with the change of temperature. As temperature is not changed, so this is not possible. But the forces between the molecules definitely decrease and the separation of the molecule definitely increase, which is option C. So the student must be very clear that the average kinetic energy of the molecules define the temperature. Thermal energy produced by an electrical heater in 3 minutes is used to melt wax. The solid wax is initially at its melting point at 60 degrees centigrade. The specific latent heat of the wax is 220 joules per gram. The heater supplies 7700 joule of the thermal energy to the wax. Some of the wax melt. How much wax melts? As the energy is given to us, and that is by the specific latent heat of definitely it is melting, so it is called specific latent heat of fusion. Q is given, which is 7700 joules. We have to find the mass of the wax which is melted by, but the specific latent heat of the wax is 220. So here we can find the mass, which is 7700 divided by 220, which will give us the correct option, which is just 35 grams. So we have to tell how much wax is melted. So 35 gram wax is melted. This is Intikhab Alam from Doctors Digital College. What always happens when the temperature increases? Explained it earlier as well. The temperature increase definitely increases the overall kinetic energy of the molecules. And what the overall kinetic energy can do, that can definitely have more bombardment with the walls of the container, and that can increase the pressure. First is very close. The gas at the constant pressure expands. Okay, the metal rod becomes longer, but its volume remains constant. So if it is longer, how its volume can be constant? A liquid contracts and then expands. A liquid contracts, then expands. Expansion, what happens when the temperature is increasing? Okay, the hole in the center of the metal disc becomes smaller. A very out of the way thing. So here we can very easily get option A. The gas at constant pressure expands. Okay, so the gas at constant pressure expands. So there will be the expansion of the gas. More gaps by the increase of the temperature will be there. Which row explains why a liquid has fixed volume but does not have a fixed shape? Liquid does not have a fixed shape. So out of the options, the force between the molecules and the liquid is large enough, is not small. Small is definitely wrong. Movement of the molecules free to move within the liquid, yes. Vibrate, no, vibrate is not. So the option B is wrong. C and D already wrong due to small. So option A is correct. The air in a sealed can is heated. So air in a sealed can is heated. Which statement explains the increase in the pressure inside the can? The molecules collide with the walls of the can more frequently when the air is heated. Yes, it is true. The pressure is only increased by the way the number of collisions with the container increases the pressure. The mass of the molecule is greater. No, mass. Why the mass? Mass is not linked with the heat. There are more molecules. No, more molecules cannot be there by heating. Heating is there and molecules remains the same. Number of molecules cannot be increased. The separation of the molecule become greater when the air is heated. Okay, but that doesn't explains the increase of the pressure. So option A is definitely correct. 29. The diagram shows how the height above the ground for a rope transmitting a wave varies with the distance from the source of vibrations at one instant in time. Height above the ground is there and the distance from the source is there. What is the amplitude of the wave shown? Amplitude is very clearly, we have to see the height from the center position. So this is the center position. I'm trying to draw it for you. And height is, this is the height, this is the amplitude. This is the amplitude because it has to go the equal height above and equal height below. All right. So from 40 to 60 and then we can just get the value. So this is after doing the counting, it's exactly 34 centimeters. So this is the amplitude we have to count, but not from peak to peak. If you get it from peak to peak, then definitely you have to make it half because from peak to peak is the double of the amplitude, is not the amplitude. This is Intikhab Alam from Doctors Digital College. A vibrator produces 12 wavelengths of the surface on the surface of the water in 10 seconds. The spacing between the first crest and the third crest is 60 centimeter. What is the speed of the wave? So you have to go for the speed of the wave. So V is generally F lambda. You need to know two things, F and lambda. Out of this information, the 12 wavelengths means the 12 waves on a surface in 10 seconds. So these two informations will help us if the vibrator is producing 12 wavelengths on the surface in 10 seconds, we can quickly get the value of speed over here, the frequency, and then we can go for the lambda, the spacing between the first crest and the third crest. Okay, let me draw the wave for you and explain the things out of it. If this is the wave, so he's talking about the first crest and then the second, then the third crest. This is the third crest because this is called crest and this is called the trough. So sorry, let me make it clear. So crest, okay, crest, crest, first crest and the third crest. So here is the distance given to us. This space is 60 centimeter. Because the distance between two consecutive crests is the lambda. Okay, and the distance between the next two consecutive crests is, so this 60 centimeters is 2 lambda. So the lambda is definitely 60 divided by 2. It would be 30 centimeter is the lambda. 12 waves in 10 seconds will give us the frequency because frequency is number of waves divided by the time. So number of waves are very clearly 12 and the time is 10. So the frequency is 1.2 hertz. Now we can go for the speed. F lambda 1.2 into 30 will give us the value of the lambda, which is very clearly 36 centimeters per second. This is Intikhab Alam from Doctors Digital College. The diagram shows a ray of light incident on the boundary between the two mediums W and X. All right, this is light incident. The mediums have different refractive indexes, okay? Some light is reflected and some light passes along the surface between the two mediums. So this is refracted and this is reflected. Angle Y is greater than angle Z. Angle Y is greater than angle Z. Okay, angle Y is greater than angle Z. It should be. Which statement is correct? One thing is very clear that W has a greater refractive index. That's why the light has bent away from the normal, and that's why the light is here. And this reflected is very clear because this angle is equal to this angle. And out of 90, this is definitely the smaller angle. So getting the informations, there are so many informations. I'm directly going to read the C1, which says X has a greater refractive index than W. Yes, X has a greater refractive index than W because this must be of greater and this must be of less because the ray has bent away from normal. And the angle Y is equal to the critical angle. Yes, angle Y is equal to the critical angle because this is not the critical angle, this is critical angle, but this is exactly equal to Y because it is the case when the light has just gone at 90 degree. When the light moves at 90 degree, refracted at 90 degree, then the angle of incidence, this one is critical angle, but this is due to the reflection, both angles are I is also equals to R. That's why Y is the critical angle. Others definitely have the ambiguity in them. A light enters a glass block at an angle of incidence I and produces an angle of refraction R in the glass. I and R good. Several different values of I and R are measured and the graph is drawn of sine I against sine R. Which graph is correct? So we have drawn this graph in the book as well, if you remember. And the graph is definitely A, it's a straight line passing from region because sine of the I is directly proportional to the sine of the R because they are directly proportional to each other. That's why the graph is A, not B, not C, not D. D has some issue because the slope of the D is much less over here. Okay, because the slope of the line should be more over here. That's why we cannot choose the D. Otherwise, A and D have the similarity, but only the problem is that the slope is lesser and the slope is more for your line A. The sine of the I is directly proportional to the sine of R. 33, a converging glass lens is used to produce a virtual magnified image. Which ray diagram shows the rays passing through the converging lens? So we are talking about the converging lens. So there are two types of the lenses, converging and diverging. So this is a diverging lens, this is a diverging lens, out of question. So we are talking about the converging lenses. And in the converging lenses, we are very clear that the ray which is parallel to the principal axis has to pass from a point which is called the focus point. And the ray which is from the optical center goes straight. Here, the ray which is passing from is also passing over there, and the other ray is also going straight. Both are correct, but we need to know lens used to produce a virtual magnified image. We need to go for the virtual image. So this is the real image because image is found over here. So this is the real image. So we cannot go for the real image. We need to get the virtual image. But for that, we need to extend these rays on the back. When we extend these rays on the back, they seem to meet over here. So we'll get a virtual image over here. This is the case of the magnifying glass which we have to get. Because these rays are never going to join to this side. That's why we get a virtual image. A metal lightning conductor is placed on the top of a tall building. Okay, lightning conductor is there. The conductor is connected to earth. Yes, it has to be connected to earth. When a charge cloud passes over the building, the metal lightning conductor becomes positively charged. All right. The thing is very clear. It's becoming charged positive is only possible because the cloud is having a negative charge. That's why all the negative charges move down to the earth due to the repulsion of the negative charges. What happens to the lightning conductor to produce a positive charge at the top? So I have explained it. Because the cloud is negatively charged, which is closer to the lightning conductor. So all the electrons are repelled by the negative charges to the ground. So we can choose only electrons move to the conductor. The two insulated and uncharged metal spheres X and Y are touching. A positively charged rod is held near X. Then the spheres are moved apart. X has now the negative charge. Y, what is the charge on Y? Definitely due to the presence of the positive charge, all the negative charges gather over here and atoms at the extreme end become positively charged. When we separate them, definitely it is stated that X has now only the negative charges, so the Y definitely has the positive charges of same size. The size will definitely be the same, positive and the same size as that on the X. A stationary negative charge in an electrical field experiences an electrical force in the direction shown. So negative charge is experiencing a force towards the right. So if negative charge has been in this direction, definitely negative charge moves towards the positive side. So this side must be positively charged over here, and this side must be negatively charged over here. What is the direction of electrical field? So very clearly the electrical field is from positive to negative. So the direction of the electrical field would be this, from right to left. Okay, from to the left, because from right to left is not the option, but to the left is very clear. It is to the left because electrical field is always from positive to negative. A metal wire of length L and cross-sectional area A has a resistance R. A second wire made from the same metal, it means its resistivity is same. So it takes us to the relation R is equals to rho L over A. So this is the initial resistance. Then we go for the next resistance. Length is 2L, rho is same, length is made 2L, and the area of cross section is now 4A. What is the resistance of the second wire? So this is your R dash. Out of R dash, we can cut it out. So it is 1 over 2 rho L over A. So rho L over A is R dash, R. So R dash is half of R. So R by 2, option C. The diagram shows a circuit. What effect does closing the switch have on the reading of emitters X and Y? When we close this, we have to get the effect on emitters X and Y. Initially, when it was not connected, there was only the one path for the flow of the current, and X and Y were showing the same value. There was no change in the value. But once it is connected over here, so you know now the current will only go to this section because there is no resistance, will not move into this section at all. So the Y will be now indicating zero current. So you can say the Y decreases, but overall you can also say the resistance has also decreased. Initially there were the two resistors in the series, but now this resistor is not been connected to the circuit because of this is providing a easiest path, which is called the short circuit. So all the current is passing. The resistance has become half. That's why the X also increases to the initial value. X increases, but Y decreases. X definitely increases, but Y decreases. So the option C is correct here again. This is Intikhab Alam from Doctors Digital College. Rectangular current carrying coil is pivoted between the poles of an electromagnet. Which action does not on its own increase the size of the turning effect exerted on the coil? So we have to find out that action which does not on its own increase the size of the turning effect on the coil. So when we go for the turning effect of the coil, which is pivoted inside the magnet, we knew that the turning effect is depending upon the size of the battery as well, the number of turns as well, and some soft iron core as well. These are the three, or external magnet. But we need to increase the size of the turning effect. Out of this, increasing the current will increase the size. Increasing the current will increase the size. Reversing the current will definitely do not have to do anything with the size. Increasing the number of turns will increase the size. So for the size, option C will not do anything. It will just reverse the direction of rotation from clockwise to anti-clockwise, but will not increase the size. This is the Habaram from Doctors Digital College. 40. The diagram shows the coil connected to a very sensitive ammeter. A magnet is next to the coil. Yes, magnet is there, which action results in a zero reading on an ammeter. If you want to see the zero reading on the ammeter, this is a setup which is with the rate of change of electromagnetic induction. So if your magnet is still, is not moving, you will not have any reading on the ammeter. Wheresoever the magnet is, if your magnet is still, if it is not moving, so we will not have any rate of change of magnetic flux to the coil, so ammeter will show you the zero reading. So out of all, moving the coil and the magnet at the same speed in the same direction, this will relatively do not have any movement relative to each other. Moving the coil and the magnet in the same speed in opposite direction will have the double effect. If you move the coil in this direction and magnet in this direction, it will have the double effect. Moving the coil away will definitely have the rate of change of magnetic flux. Moving the magnet will also have the change. But this effect, if you move them in the same speed in the same direction, means the coil is also going here, the magnet is also moved in the same direction. So magnet relative to the coil will be at rest. So there will be no change in the magnetic flux linkage. So you will not have any induced EMF. So ammeter will read zero. That's all. This is Intikhab Alam from Doctors Digital College. I tried to explain this paper for you people.